Welcome back, Shalligators. Today, we are going to talk about, my hair sticking straight up. My hair sticking straight. Look at this. It's like it's going like this to me. I do nothing but care for you. Oh, I look awful. And if you guys want to criticize me in the comment section, go for it. But that's going to mean you probably didn't watch the rest of this video because we're talking about how to be less critical and controlling in a relationship. It's all I can look at. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. I'll try in a minute. Why are we talking about this? Well, because our girl Kim K is facing backlash. Say it with me. You know how I said backlash for being controlling. Telling Pete Davidson to take off like 2 baseball hats that he was wearing before the Met Gala. Let me go out in front and say, get a life. If you're sitting around tweeting and feeling personally attacked by Kim Kardashian telling her not that fashionable boyfriend to stop doing something dumb and not fashionable when she's in a high stress situation. I don't know what to tell you. I do. And I'm going to spend 30 minutes telling it to you. It's stupid. There is zero truth or basis or whatever to this story. But you know what? Celebrities, as we know around here, what are they? They're fables for us. They're just a vehicle to impart knowledge about something we might need to know or brush up on or learn about. Okay. It's like the tortoise and the hare. I don't give a fuck about tortoises or hair. I actually care a lot about tortoises, but that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. I'm so sorry. I'm really tired and I'm not making a ton of sense. Okay. So we're going to break down what's going on with Kim K. And we're going to talk about, how to stop being controlling and critical in relationships. The last video we did was how to stop being toxic. And we talked about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, who are just such a fucking garbage fire of a... Anyway. But what if you're not like toxic, but you're like toxic adjacent, or you just get sick of trying to refine a guy, the nagging? How can we stop doing this? Because listen, it's absolutely repellent for our partner. It is catastrophic and lethal for our relationships. And it's just really corrosive for ourselves. I don't like to be in that criticizing, naggy phase. Do you like to be like that? No. It's exhausting and it's deeply, deeply unsexy. What it does is essentially set up a parent-child dynamic. Ooh, how sexy. Blech. It's awful. And it can be a cancer that infects your relationship. And once you kind of get into that dynamic, into that role, those roles, it can be very difficult to pull out of it. So we're going to tell you how to pull out of it, why you're doing it most importantly, and how to get things back on the right track. Before we get started, just want to remind you, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, share your feedback about my hair sticking straight up, I have to fix it. Head over to my website, shallonlester.com, and click submit a question. I can get back to you in as little as 24 hours if you need help ASAP. Also, we've still got some room for our Italy trip at the beginning of November. We're leaving on November 2nd. The trip kicks off November 2nd. It's open to girls and gays worldwide. Anybody who wants to come, as long as you're not a straight man, because who needs them, right? We're fine without it. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to Rome and Florence. It's just going to be to die for. There's probably some other things I should tell you about. Oh, check out the Girl on Top podcast. It's out today. We have a new episode every Wednesday. This week, we're talking about how to turn a booty call into a boyfriend. Yeah, and I'm going to give you the exact script for what to say to someone to kind of switch that dynamic. So speaking of switching dynamics, we're going to talk about how to be less critical. But first, let's find out what's going on with Skeet, Kim and Pete. And while I catch you up, I'm going to see what I can do with I literally might just take it down. I don't have my stennies in. It looks like an animal pellet. Ugh. Makes my head look really square because now I've got the Murph from having my hair. You know what the Murph is? It's like that. It's the line from your hair tie. Just makes me crazy. Also, why has the nation, nay, the world, never agreed on what to call these things? Hair tie, it's not tied. But when you say a rubber band, have you ever asked for do you have a rubber band for my hair, and someone hands you an actual rubber band? You're like, what the fuck? What is this? You ever tried to put your hair up with a rubber band? It's torturous. It's so painful. But then you're like, a hair rubber band. Why can't we come up with a simple name for this? We got close when scrunchies came out and we blew it. We blew it. We failed. Okay, so let's talk about Kim and Pete. I'm sorry. So there were some behind the scenes videos from the Met Gala that I guess she shared. Yeah, it was from the Kardashian social Instagram page, whatever the fuck that is. So Kim, or what's his name? The guy? Pete, sorry. He's got 2 baseball caps on, like as a joke. He's like standing there and she's like, take the double hat off. And he's like, I didn't know where to put my hat. And she like points to his assistant. She's like, she'll hold it just in case, because if it works, we want to use it somewhere, just if I want to post any behind the scenes. And he's like, oh, so you don't want me to have a double hat? Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. And he's like, you know, they're just teasing each other. They're joking around. And she's like, I'm just looking out for you. He's like, no, it's cool. It's cool. Thank you, man. That hat caused a lot of trouble. It was the most benign, cute, flirty exchange. And the dumpies and the uglies are out on Twitter wiping their Dorito dust and cum on their sweatshirt they haven't changed for 5 days from their mom's basement as their next Hot Pocket heats up. Yeah, this is what some people are saying. She's controlling. She's not letting him be himself by wearing 2 hats. Let him wear 2 freaking hats, Kim. It's all about her Instagram aesthetic. Within 5 months, he's going to be a complete accessory. What do you mean within an accessory? He already is. He's not a great accessory. She has Balenciaga accessories. He's like Dollar Tree. He's like Dunkin' Donuts merch. Fucking out of here. With another adding in some great grammar. Nah, def red flag passive aggressive behavior. Instead of telling him she doesn't want him to make her look bad, which is what she's implying, period. Okay, the way that sentence is structured, there should have been a shift in the, doesn't matter. She said she's looking out for him. It's giving controlling and selfish. You're giving ridiculous. You're giving idiot. You want to talk who's giving what? You're giving idiot. You're giving the person who lets their boyfriend wear cargo shorts to a wedding. Do you do that? I dated someone who tried that. I was like, how about we put on pants? How about we try that? He's like, but these shorts are cool and they hold a bunch of stuff. I said, what the fuck do you need to hold? A handful of magic beans? You put your phone in my purse. I'm your pack mule. You're not wearing shorts of any kind to a formal event. Okay? And when they're like, instead of telling him she doesn't want him to make her look bad, oh, that's a nice thing to say to somebody you're dating. Hey, you're gonna make me look bad. Why would you say that to somebody? Why, even if that's like the truth, because hello, Mr. Cargo Shorts would have made me look very bad. I'm not going to arrive with someone like that. You say things in a little bit more massaged kind of way, right? And the fact that the uglies and the dumpies are like, she should have just said that. Well, thank you, adult virgins around the world, for crawling out of the woodwork and letting us all know you have never touched a human breast or had any, meaningful interaction with the opposite sex. Thank you for letting us know that. Based on your comment. It's all very clear now. And listen. I was a 21, almost 22-year-old virgin. Some of you guys are virgins. It ain't about the virginity. It's about involuntary virginity. Incels. Involuntary celibates. Anyway. So the backlash and this, oh, Kim's so controlling. She's not fucking controlling. First of all, men need to be told what to do in terms of what they wear. If men can just wear whatever they want, you know how they look? They look like men in Montana. Okay? Multiple types of camo. They're going out Carhartt jeans. They're fancy formal beanie. Those socks that are, those shoes that are like all-terrain sandals. Why the fuck? Who would ever need something like that? And do you know why men here look like that? Because the women here look like that. Do you know why men here have only one eyebrow? Because the women only have one eyebrow too. There's the exact same amount of facial hair on the men as there are the women. And the women have their fancy Carhartt overalls as well. It's a cesspool. I look like a freak. I literally look like some peacock dipped in gold, sprinkled with glitter. Dating isn't going well. Men need refinement. Women need refinement in other ways. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but men need many, and it is almost always centralized around what they fucking wear. Someone said one time, or maybe it was like some old adage, The point of love is to find the perfect person, then change them, And it's true. Like, women are supposed to make men better. Every time a guy has leveled up fashion-wise, it's because a woman has told him to do that. I mean, by and large, very few men have this fashion acumen that they're like, oh, I want to know what the latest fashion, like some do, but it's not the commonality. We are here to refine men. We know this. We have to do this shit emotionally. What do we always say? I am not a rehab for broken men. Remember when that TikTok sound went viral? Yeah, nobody even tagged me. It was great. We're not rehab for broken men. Apparently, though, we are some sort of haberdashery or like a beauty salon. I mean, look, Kim was doing exactly what women have been doing since the dawn of time, telling men to stop wearing whatever bullshit they find funny and actually dress like a man. Did you ever know a guy, like usually like in a frat, he was like the funny guy who like grew some mustache because it's funny, or he got a mullet because it's so wacky, or what guys do out here, do you know what they do? Prepare yourself for something dreadful. They get a mullet and they perm the bottom. They perm their mullet. I knew a guy, one of my ex's friends did that, and I'm like, Austin, what is this? And he's like, it's funny. I'm like, does funny suck your dick? He's like, well, girls think it's funny. I'm like, did they suck your dick, Austin? He's like, no. He was already like 5'3". I'm like, you cannot afford to play this. Nope. You do not have this kind of elasticity, my guy. You're 6'7", you work at SpaceX, get all the mullet perms you want, okay? The blowjobs are gonna roll in no matter what. No. You gotta work a little smarter. Funny doesn't get you laid. I could go on about this, and I'm sorry, because that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about controlling. Again, no part of me thinks Kim is being controlling. She was in a very high stress situation. Like, have you guys ever been getting ready for like a big event? And guys have to do so fucking little. It's like, could you wash your socks? I can smell you from here. You can't even do that. Or you spend all day getting ready for something and they show up in like a t-shirt and you're like, got it. And they're like, oh, a tie is just so uncomfortable. A tie is uncomfortable? I have a tampon in. Do you want to experience that? Forget about the rest of my outfit. I have a foreign object stuffed into a sensitive part of my body because I'm bleeding. But I want to hear more about this tie and how it's oppressing you. My heart is just breaking. You're like Nelson Mandela right in front of me right now. So, Kim was in a high stress situation. And when we've been stressed, we're rushing to get ready for something, the stakes are high. The last thing we want is someone teasing us. Some people like to be teased. I am not one of those people. No. I don't find it funny. Don't hide my car keys as a joke. Don't pretend you're gonna spill something. Miss me with that. Miss me like the broadside of a bus. And I can see Kim being like, take the hat off, okay? This is not the time take the hat off. Pete, this isn't really his vibe or whatever. I think it was just a funny, cute interaction, and people pick this woman apart. And it's like, oh, the Kardashians are disgusting. They're famous for doing nothing. Exactly. That speaks to their business acumen, their it factor, their mystery, their likability, their relatability. Sorry that's like so triggering for you. Sorry you're, I don't know, not rich and famous. I don't think the Kardashians have really interfered in your life at all. I don't think that they're responsible for you not being in a good place. They promote unrealistic body standards. Hey man, what doesn't? What doesn't? Like, yeah, they do, and they pretend they're all natural and they're not, okay. But I think at this point, we're like post Facetune. Like, we can all look at these people and be like, that's not real. Like, we and Instagram and all these things have been around long enough that I think we can reasonably say, I can see through the bullshit. And if you can't, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Okay. So, let's talk about being critical. Now, it is perhaps been implied that I can be a little bit critical in my relationships. I can be a little bit critical in my relationships. Maybe when I was 8, my friends told me I was critical even back then. Okay. Okay, am I one of those people? Perhaps. But you know what? Some people, they can dish it out, but they can take it too. I am not one of those people either. I'm not. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I can dish it out. Can I take it? No, I'm a nightmare. I'm horrible. And I have to really check myself to not veer into that critical thing. I have a good vocabulary. I'm snarky. I'm funny. That can sometimes have a very big downside. You guys know you're all of those things as well. And like our sharp tongue can cut a lot of throats. So when I look back on the times in my relationships when I have wanted to tear my hair out dealing with my boyfriend or husband, what was going on? I'm thinking back about one particular boyfriend I had. We talk a lot about the ick, right? That feeling of, blech. You just don't want someone to touch you with their fingers. The ick is not an ugly people's disease. It's not an ugly people's problem. I have gotten the ick. One was literally a male model, and I'm like, don't come any fucking closer. The ick we tend to get when someone is more into us than we are into them, and more importantly, we're trying to force ourselves. They're great on paper. We should like them, but we just don't. And when you try to force yourself, your body, your psyche, your mind is screaming at you to take a U-turn. And so it imbues you with this disgusted feeling that's it's lethal. It kills a relationship. There is no coming back from the ick. There's not. So we've talked about the ick. What I don't think we ever have talked about is the irk. The irk. Where you're just like, can you not breathe that way? Can you stop with the breathing? Oh, that's how you cut tomatoes. Really? Did you ever think that maybe you're cutting them wrong? If you don't put the toilet paper overhand, do you need me to pull up the patent from like 1836? Because the patent shows that it goes overhand. It does. The irk. When everything that they do gets under your skin, you're just so annoyed and you're so critical and you can't stop nagging them because nothing they're doing is right. And look, the ick is rooted in a lie. Like I said, you get the ick for people who are not ugly. I mean, when I look at the dudes, I've been like, ooh, baby. Some of them very ugly, very, very empirically ugly by anybody's standards, nightmare people. And the people I've gotten the ick for, handsome. So the ick is a lie. The irk, I'm sorry, but that's just not how you cut tomatoes. That's not how the toilet paper goes. If you had printed your boarding pass, like I said, because I knew we wouldn't have reception at the airport, this wouldn't be fucking happening, Tyler. The irk is the truth. As you see it, the irk is the truth. The irk doesn't feel like it's a lie whispering you to get you out of something. The irk feels like, no, I am right. I'm right. Kim was right to take that stupid hat off. I have to put this behind my back. Oh. So let's just say that the irk is correct, that the things you're nagging and criticizing have some merit. What do we also say? It sets up a deeply unsexy dynamic. It's a parent-child dynamic. And when I think about, like I said, this one particular boyfriend I had, I was in like nag mode 5000. I was like a nag monster, a robot set to nag. It's all I did. Everything. I was criticizing. I was nagging. He was making me fucking insane. And the more I nagged, the more childlike he got. And I get it. If you treat someone like a criminal, that's exactly what they're going to become. People live a label. So if you infantilize a man and bitch him out for the way he unloads the dishwasher, just fucking ream him because he didn't pull into the gas station on the right side where the gas tank is, even though you've been driving this car for 2 years. If you give someone the constant message that they're stupid and they're incapable, I mean, consciously or unconsciously, they're gonna go, well then fuck it. Fine. I'm an idiot. I'm an incapable idiot. Great. They're just gonna give up. And it becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy. And then you get more angry, righteously, because they aren't doing things right and they aren't trying and they aren't being their best self. But when I think back on when I was like super critical in this relationship, it's because I didn't want to be in it anymore. Like that, I know we just said the ick is a lie and the irk is the truth, but that's actually not the case. They are both driven by our psyche that is trying to tell us something. Now, maybe I didn't want to be in that relationship, you know, and I remember when I stopped loving him. We were traveling a lot, like every single weekend we were getting on a plane. I'm a very, very experienced traveler, as you guys know. I grew up traveling. My mom is the most squared away traveler you can possibly imagine. She was a flight attendant. I am the same way. I know how to do it. He didn't. Like, he's traveled, but not like I have, and not in the way that I have. I mean, I'm not saying his way of traveling is wrong. Yes, I am, because it was. But I literally stopped loving him because I'm like, you're making me so fucking annoyed. Like, the irk set in and it just got its hooks right into the jugular of our relationship. And after that, like, this switch just flipped and I was this nag monster. I believe that's when he like started cheating on me. That's not true. He was probably cheating on me way before that. But I don't know that I could have blamed him. You know, I wouldn't have wanted to date me either. And it wasn't as bad as I'm making it sound, but it was the beginning of, I guess, the end, even though the end didn't come for like a year. It was a long ass time. And it just wasn't fun. I don't know, it's like the mask dropped, the shine was off the rose or whatever the saying is. I was irked. And part of me was, I was just kind of tired of the relationship. Like, I was starting to see the cracks in our dynamic. I was starting to see some of the bullshit, like lies and falsehoods that he'd been telling me. And I just kind of wanted out. But I didn't have anything concrete to peg it to. I didn't. Like, hey, you couldn't print your boarding pass, I'm breaking up with you. We've been together a year. Like, that seems insane, right? And what I failed to do was look beneath the surface and be like, is the boarding pass a topic or is it an issue? Because when we fight and when we nag and when we criticize, we think like, no, I'm criticizing about those 2 fucking hats. Are you? That's the topic. But what's the issue? Maybe the issue with Kim and Pete, and for the record, like I said, I don't think that there's anything, I don't think this was a fight or a squabble or anything. But for the sake of argument, for what we're talking about, let's pretend that it is, okay? Let's pretend that this is like, this was some like fraught, horrible thing. Let's pretend it is. The topic is the hat. The issue might be, from Kim's point of view, you stress me out more. You tease me at inappropriate times. You don't actually know what I need when I'm stressed out. It is not this. You are not an ameliorator of stress, as I believe a partner should be. You're an additive. You're a stress additive. So I'm going to bitch you the fuck out about those hats, right? On his side, if he's like, you want me to lose the hats? The hat, again, is the topic. The issue might be, I have to fit my entire life into this woman's life. There is no her bending to be more like me. She'll cosplay as being like me. She'll come to Staten Island. She'll like hang out with like Cooley and AV and, you know, Fat Angelo, Teresa, the Jew, whatever. One Leg, Abel, whatever. She'll hang out with those people, but no, she's just slumming it. She's studying abroad in my life. Like, if I want to be with her, I have to become like her. She runs the show. So yeah, I'm going to be an asshole about these hats. This is the hill I am actually going to die on. So when you look at it like that, topics versus issues, look again at when you're being critical. Is the topic the dishwasher? Is it the peanut butter? Is it the toilet paper roll? What is the underlying issue? What do these things represent? Do they represent someone chronically taking advantage of you? Not respecting your home or your things, which might also relate to them not respecting your time or your schedule or your hopes or your dreams or your body or your affection that you give to them. Things relate, right? And we express them in a way that is digestible. We express ourselves, we express ourselves in bite-sized pieces, right? So instead of looking at that toilet paper roll and being like, you don't appreciate the fucking love I give you. we stick to the toilet paper roll because it seems easier to fix in the moment. It's easier to communicate and it's easier for the person to fix. And we hope on an unconscious level, they can fix that toilet paper roll. They're demonstrating their overall respect for me. And that's not wrong. I mean, that is part of how we demonstrate respect. The little things, of course. But I want you to chip away at that, scratch beneath your own surface and think, why am I so critical of this dude? Is there something my psyche is trying to tell me? And listen with an open mind. Get curious, not furious. Had I done that with my ex, I could have saved myself a crucial year of my life, the humiliation of being cheated on in the most egregious of ways, a lot of affection. I mean, the list is almost endless. The list is almost endless. Would it have been crazy to go to him and be like, I just think we need to break up. Like, I'm over this and I'm sorry, I'm done, I'm out. Yeah. And I look back and I know that the reason I didn't do that, because I do remember considering this briefly, but it's like, it would have been so messy and I would have been very easily talked out of it. That is what I went back to. It's going to be messy. I don't feel clear enough about the reason for this. I can't peg it to a boarding pass. And he's going to be like, what are you talking about? We're not breaking up. I love you. Are you okay? He's going to gaslight me. In essence, and people don't always gaslight for nefarious reasons. They do it because it's like, no, you're staying in this relationship. I love you. What are you talking about? But that's what was going to happen. And I was going to immediately question what the fuck I was doing and talking about. And my friends were going to ask, so why'd you break up? Well, there was this boarding pass and with the machine and the QR. I was going to sound crazy. And it was going to make me feel crazy. And then that potentially would have primed the ground for a lot more gaslighting. Because then after that, maybe I wouldn't have been able to trust any assessment I had of the relationship. Do you know what I mean? So maybe this is revisionist history to make me feel better about it. But like, the schedule happened the way it, in a way, had to happen for me. But that might not be your case. Maybe you're way further down the line and you are just in this nag mode. And I know what that's like, because you know what it comes down to? Peace versus victory, girl. We talked about this. I mean, we talked about it a million times. We talked about it in that video about Amber and Johnny, how to stop being toxic. One of you has to just walk away. Somebody just needs to be the hero at some point. You know what? You can think I'm a crazy bitch. You can think I'm a crazy bitch. Tell everyone. Engrave it on my tombstone. I don't care. I am removing myself from this. Say whatever you fucking want about me. I am moving forward away from this and towards peace. Victory, what does that even mean? How can we define that? Well, victory is him putting the toilet paper on right. Okay. Is that worth the headache? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not, girl. Maybe if this is par for the course in the relationship where it's critical and naggy and demanding, do you like feeling this way? I didn't. I hated it. I stopped recognizing who I was. And the effect that had was, ironically, I became more entrenched in the relationship, because I'm like, on some level, I had these like quiet, dark thoughts like, how could you ever think you could leave him and go be single? You are so hateful and so unlovable. Look how you act. You think anyone else would deal with you? You should be kissing this man's feet that he fucking tolerates the way you act. But I was acting like that because I was staying in the relationship. It becomes this horrible snake eating its own tail. You become the thing you hate the most. You live your label the way he's living the useless, infantilized, whatever label you foisted on him. It's just all bad. So how do you right the ship? I mean, say you scratch the surface and it's like, I don't want to leave him. I love him. And once upon a time, we had a great relationship and I didn't act like this. And I hate where this has gone. It's terrible. But if he would just fix certain things, okay. You ready for some harsh truths? You aren't perfect either. Well, I mean, I know. What if he spoke to you the way you spoke to him? Well, he does, Shallon. Okay. What did I just say a few minutes ago? Someone's got to be the hero. Someone's got to be the hero. What would happen if you decided to be that hero and sit him down and say, you know what? I hate what we've become. I hate this. We weren't these people. We weren't bitching each other out in the Applebee's parking lot. We weren't like this. We were each other's biggest cheerleader once upon a time. Do you remember those days? I do. Now look, if you don't remember those days, if it was never like this, fucking dip. But let's say that it was. You can say, I endeavor to be different. I am going to step up and be the leader here in terms of a different dynamic, a different way of speaking. I hope you step up too. But I can only control myself, and I'm making a pledge to be different and be better and get us back to those good days. Why is this good to do? You need to get out of this mindset that like you're toxic as well, right? We covered that. Like it's corrosive. You don't want to feel this way. It's horribly detrimental to your relationship to the point of it's lethal. Also, you need to see what he does. If he's like, good. I'm glad you recognize that you're the one at fault. I'm glad you recognize how much you need to change. I've been saying this forever. Like, I'm fine. Good. Thank you for just capitulating and listening. You need to know that that's who you're dealing with. Okay? You need to know that this person is not after peace. They're not after happy. They're after right. They're after victory. Do you want to be in a relationship with a person like that, who is fundamentally your opponent and who wants you to know it, who fundamentally believes that no matter what, they're right, you're wrong? Fuck collaboration. No, I'm going to teach her that she's wrong. You want that dynamic? Do you have any idea where that leads? Let me tell you something. No place good. That is the foundation of an abusive dynamic. And I mean, it's a two-way street, right? It's a two-way street. Talked about that in Johnny and Amber. So you need to get some clarity on what is going on beneath the surface here. Best case scenario, he's going to step up to you and be like, I'm so glad we're doing this. Who have we become, right? Worst, you're going to be like, oh, he's actually a pile of shit. He is an absolute garbage raccoon person. Wow, I have the ability to be better. I want a healthy, stable relationship. I'm not this nagathon woman. I'm getting out of this bullshit. Like, you're going to be ready to leave, which you should. One thing I will tell you not to do, this is a bold statement, do not go to couples therapy. Wait, why? You know why? You know who always wants to go to couples therapy? The person who thinks they're right. Because they want to go and have a third party be like, no, she's right. And go like, see, I fucking told you. I told you, Tyler. I told you about the toilet paper. I showed you the patent and she saw the patent too and I was right. You are not actually chasing peace. You are chasing victory. Be honest with yourself. The people who want to go to therapy, very often, not always, but very often, they just want to go and they want to be yay-sayed. They want to gang up on their wrong partner and have someone validate that. Why is this bad? Because look, sometimes that man needs a third party to be like, you are a piece of shit, my guy. Right? I get that. You can go to therapy and you can suggest this if you are also willing to hear, and madam, you are as well a piece of shit. If you are really okay hearing that you're not doing everything right, that you have a lot of stuff you need to work on, seriously, then go. If not, don't go. You know what you should just do? Go to therapy alone. Don't even bring him up. Because you know what your need for the nag and the criticizing might be? It might be a need for control. Beta males try to control women. You know, they hit us and they neg us and they pass laws about what we can't do with our body, right? We know that. Beta females aren't very different. Anyone who feels like they don't have power or agency in the world, they're going to try to get it wherever they can. It's a human need. So if they can't get it at their job, with their body, in the world, they're going to come and they're going to turn the screws on you. Are you doing that? Look at your life and ask yourself, where do I feel like I don't have enough control or power? I saw, in hindsight, of course, not at the time, an unmistakable correlation between my nightmare boss scenario and the dynamics at play at Star Magazine when I worked there and how naggy I was in my relationship. Walked hand in hand, those two. Now, in hindsight, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. At the time, I couldn't see it at all. I would spend 10 hours at work getting shat on and abused and held down and oppressed. And God damn it, I was going to come home and that toilet paper roll was going to be on the motherfucking holder the right way, or somebody was going to die. Right? I was going to die on every hill. Every battle was the battle I picked to fight. I didn't let anything go because I felt so oppressed and so put upon in a category of my life that mattered a lot. I'm not a person who's ever just like, I just have a job. I'm not that person. You probably aren't either. Very few of us are. I don't know. I mean, maybe some people are. Those aren't my people. I don't fuck with them. I fuck with people who have big dreams, big ambition, big, not a hole to fill inside them, but a big hill of self-actualization they are going to climb in their life. So look around your life. What's not being climbed? What hill are you gazing up at and being like, oh, I can't do this? Is it your health and fitness? Is it the cleanliness of your surroundings? Is it your family relationships? Do you have friends? This is another thing. If you have friends, and I've always had a lot of friends, how long exactly do you think you could behave that way to a friend and still have access to them before they block you? If one of my friends spoke to me the way I'd been speaking to my boyfriend, off with her head. I wouldn't tolerate that bullshit, nor she would tolerate it from me. I never dealt with my friends that way. I think, though, it's different with friends because we're allowed to have a bunch of them. You know? Hey, you know, like Kristen's great at this, Becca's great at that, Diane's great at this. Like, we don't only get one and they have to be everything, you know? But we do only get one boyfriend, one husband. Don't get me started on that. Sister wives, brother husbands, I think it would be great. We only get one. So I'm like, well, he's the only guy I can bring to a wedding. He's the only boyfriend I take traveling. So yeah, he's got to be pretty close to perfect. He has to check a lot of boxes. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Oh, am I supposed to have multiple partners? Spoiler alert, he did. Maybe that's why he was dealing with me in such a better way, because when I pissed him off, he had so many other girlfriends to just call up. It never really bothered him too much. Egg on my face that I was monogamous. Anyway, that which nourishes us also destroys us. So, when we put more emphasis on having those friendships, maybe it's okay that our boyfriend doesn't do everything exactly perfect. Maybe if they're not our sun, moon, and stars, and we have other people in our life to temper our needs and to get our needs met in other ways, okay. Tyler Perry brought this up in a movie. I think it was called Why Did I Get Married? And good God, watch it if you ever think you want to get married, because it is not a rosy picture. But I love that movie. And he talks about the 80-20 rule. One of the characters says, it's like your partner, no matter how amazing she is only going to give you 80% of what you need. That's it. That's all. No more, not 81, not 91. No, it is 80%. That is the most you can expect from someone. But then someone who embodies this 20% comes along and you're like, oh, you're so fixated on it that it blinds you. So you leave your wife for this new chick thinking, because all you're focusing on is that 20%, that you're getting 100%, but you're not. You're only getting 20. It's a net loss and you're fucked. So look at your partner and decide what that 20% is you don't get. I remember in the middle of like this fiasco with my ex-boyfriend going to therapy, not with him. I taking my own advice. I went to my therapist and I'm like, he's so untidy. Like, I don't know how I could ever build a life with someone who just leaves clothes in a pile. And she's like, well, what does he give you? Like, tell me the positive. I'm like, oh, well, he's an excellent communicator. He's so incredibly supportive. He is my biggest cheerleader, such a champion, loves my body no matter how fat I am, like loves my family, never gets jealous or possessive. And she's like, then hire a fucking housekeeper, Shallon. Hire a fucking housekeeper. So he doesn't know how to vacuum or use a drill. Hire people. You can hire people for that. You can't hire someone to be a cheerleader for you. You can't hire someone to give you the love and the communication that he does. Can you? What site is that on? Craigslist? No. Outsource it. Go. She's like, get out of my office. Go outsource it. And she was onto something. Now, this is like the cheating notwithstanding, right? But when you think of it that way, is the thing that this person gives you, the things, plural, is it something you can just find easily? And be honest, maybe the answer is yes. Hey, you know what they give me is companionship. They're simply a warm body in my life. They're somebody to come home to. They're someone to text when the plane lands and I made it. Do you think maybe that could be a lot of people? Maybe that's not unique to them or, you know, particularly noteworthy that they don't do. It's not like they do an exceptional job at it. It could kind of be anybody. Or maybe not. Maybe the qualities they embody really are pretty rare from what you've seen. With my ex, that was the case. I hadn't, and I still haven't, found someone who is supportive and cheerleadery as he was. And I think a lot about, am I ever going to? You know, I mean, the thought even crossed your mind. It's like, how much do I really hate being cheated on? You know, when a quality that someone embodies is that rare, or you deem it that rare, or it's been that rare from your experience, which is not reality all the time. Anyway, I don't even know where I'm going with that. But get down to the nitty gritty. The 20% that you're nagging him about that you're not getting, are they surfacey, topicy stuff? Do they relate to larger issues that are not being addressed? Only you can have the answer to that. But maybe the answer is taking some time, you know, pulling back from a relationship. And I think it's perfectly acceptable to say, hey, I've been looking at myself real hard lately, and I hate this dynamic. I understand that a lot of it is because of me. I also understand a lot of it is because of you, dude. Those cargo shorts at the wedding? No, that was my favorite cousin. Didn't need to wear cargo shorts, but I digress. I'm going to take a step back from this relationship for a few weeks. I need to go to some therapy. I need to work on myself. I realize that part of the reason I act like this is because I don't feel like I have a lot of power in XYZ category in my life, and I'm gonna focus on that. I'm not gonna be out there fucking a bunch of dudes. This is about me and working on me. Because the last thing I want, baby, is to keep chipping away at the love we have for each other until there's nothing left. To just smash this to smithereens, to the point that there's no going back, you know? And listen, girl, that is very possible. You know, that shredding, if you emasculate someone and mommify yourself to the point where it's a tailspin of roles that neither one of you can pull out of, fuck, that sucks. That sucks a lot. That sucks a lot. That hurts. It is okay to make a strategic retreat. It might not be easy. It might be a little messy. He might not understand it. He ain't need to understand it. Let him understand the outcome. He doesn't need to see how the sausage is made. Be like, this is for the best of our relationship. I hope you can understand that. If you don't, I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to trust me, or don't. Move on, see if you can replace me in 3 weeks. This is a risk I have to take. This is the dice I have to roll. But I have to do this because we can't carry on like this. We have to do something. And this might seem extreme, and maybe it is, but this is what I've got. And for me, I need to pull back. I know you need to let this like emotional dust settle. We both need to cool off and think about what we want. So this is what we're gonna do. Or this is what I'm going to do. Make it a statement, not a question, not a negotiation. I want to know your thoughts on Kim and Pete. If you need to talk to me about this subject, if you're like, this is kicking up a lot and you want to get in touch, like I said, go to my website, shallonlester.com, and click submit a question. I can get back to you just in 24 hours if I can't wait, because I get it. And like I said, come with me to Italy. We are going early November, November 2nd, going to Rome and Florence. Is going to be absolutely epic. To see how I travel and the kind of stuff we'll be doing, head to my Instagram, ShallonXO. And be sure to check out the Girl on Top podcast for free, every place podcasts are found. I'll see you later, Shalligators.